President of the ICCC, Satish Thakkar.
Thank you, Stephen and Priya, for such a kind introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all to Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce Annual Award and Gala Night. Friends, the Annual Award and Gala Night is an occasion to celebrate the achievements of our heroes. Our achievers have made a significant contribution to their own field of endeavor and, more importantly, have contributed to our community and to the socio-economic and political fabric of the Canadian society. I congratulate all our winners. You make us proud by your achievements and your ability to give selfless service. Friends, we are celebrating 35 years today, and it is a key milestone and a reflection of the continuing relevance of our chamber. From a nebulous organization that could barely find its feet in 1977, today we are one of the largest Indian diaspora business organizations in Canada with a coast-to-coast presence. Given our heritage, it is natural that we attract members from all spheres of activity, from the world of academics and business to the world of politics and community development. In recognition of our Chamber's contributions to Canada-India bilateral ties, that the Government of India bestowed upon our Chamber the ultimate accolade. On January 9, 2012, India's President, Her Excellency, Shrimati Pratibha Devi Singh Patil, honored the Chamber with the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award. Our Chamber is the third organization only to have been so honored. The sustained work of our past presidents have brought this glory to the Chamber, and I want to acknowledge some of their presence here today, and I request them to please rise. Thank you. Friends, it is an evening when we rededicate ourselves to our goals of fostering better relations between our two nations, Canada and India. Our two democracies have traditionally enjoyed a closer bond. The bond is growing as Canada and India get closer in spite of geography. During the last few years, the bilateral relations between our two countries have acquired a momentum and a sense of purpose. We are now cruising along the path of cooperation and collaboration. Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce has played a pivotal role in bringing about this transformation, and we have adopted a calibrated approach that has helped us change our track to address specific needs, even as we have stayed focused on our vision of facilitating economic relations. In keeping with our approach to constantly be the wave of change, we have devised new approaches in the past year. It was a year of engaging partners and implementing strategies to achieve better results. As the Chamber's membership has grown, it has begun to reflect the microcosm of the Canadian economic reality. Most of our members are small and medium business leaders. In an increasingly globalized world where the international trading partners hold the key to growth, it is only natural that small entrepreneurs, earlier focused on the local markets, begin exploring markets abroad. A simultaneous occurrence has been the growing importance of the third tier of government, a level where the small businesses operate. For the Chamber, it was only natural to develop a strategy that would engage new partners that would help it fulfill its overall mandate. Friends, we take mission to India every year in January, and this year we did it differently. We collaborated with Town of Markham and led a delegation comprising 60 small businesses to a 4-city trade mission to India. It proved to be a game changer. All the members of the delegation successfully established primary business contacts, and few even inked MOUs for the collaboration. We have established working relations with the several third-tier entities across Canada and have worked closely with several Canadian SMEs to assist them in their endeavor to seek global markets. Even as we succeeded in our innovative approach of engaging new partners, we continued to serve our constituents in our traditional domain. Our members gave inputs on direction the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement should take. As federal governments, both here in Canada and India, continued to parley with us to seek the policy direction on issues as diverse as trade, immigration, and parliamentary reforms. During the year, we had many interactions with the Canadian and Indian decision makers. 7 federal ministers, 2 premiers, 4 Indian chief ministers, 6 Indian federal ministers interacted with the chamber. Friends, one of the most cherished moments of my tenure as the president of the chamber was when we met Governor General of Canada, the Right Honorable David Johnston. We informed him of the 3 areas in which chamber has focused in recent years. And these are launching a mentoring program where we have succeeded in assisting newcomers to find their feet in the new homeland. Engaging small businesses where we have succeeded in assisting SMEs expand global markets. Youth engagement program where we have consciously begun to involve younger members of our community, the 2nd and the 3rd generation of Indo-Canadian, into the chamber's activities. In all these endeavors, we have achieved a measurable success. We are on the cusp of a major change. As the relation between the Canada and India continues to grow, our chamber will work towards achieving its mandate. We want to replicate our outreach model that we have adopted last year by holding successful events in Ottawa, Halifax, Calgary, and Charlottetown. In achieving this, we'll need backing from our members, our sponsors, and our stakeholders. On behalf of the chamber, I'm beholden to you all for your continued support. I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the board member and the advisors of our chamber for turning my presidential tenure into one of the most memorable one that would not have been possible without their hard work. Personally, I have been able to achieve all that only because of the unceasing and loving support I got from my family and friends. I want to thank my wife Rimple, my daughter Nikita, and my son Mayank for their unconditional support throughout. And once again, I thank you all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce Annual Award and Gala Night. I am Naval Bajaj, Vice President and Director, Finance and Administration of the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. It's both an honor and a privilege for me to introduce to you our chief guest for the evening, the Honorable Joe Oliver, Minister of Natural Resources. Minister Oliver was elected to the House of Commons for the first time in May 2011 and appointed the Minister of Natural Resources on May 18th. Prior to his election of the Parliament, Mr. Oliver had a career in the investment banking industry. He began his investment banking career at Merrill Lynch and served in the senior positions at the other investment dealers and as the Executive Director of the Ontario Securities Commission. Mr. Oliver was then appointed President and Chief Executive Officer of the Investment Dealers Association of Canada. He played a prominent role as the chair of the Advisory Committee of the International Council of the Securities Association and as chair of the Consultative Committee of the International Association of Securities Association. A graduate of the Director Education Program at the Rotman School of Management, he was also a member of the Canadian Institute of Chartered Business Valuators and sat on the board of the Canadian Securities Research Foundation. Mr. Oliver is an active member of his community and the volunteer was various charities in Canada and abroad. He served as the chair of the Posted Research Foundation of Canada for 4 years and as a member of the board of the Mount Sinai Hospital. Mr. Oliver obtained both his Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Civil Law at McGill University. He was also called to the Quebec Bar and later graduated with an MBA from the Harvard Graduate School of Business. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Minister Oliver, our chief guest for the evening, Honorable Joe Oliver.
Thank you very much, Naval, and good evening, everyone. Merci, Naval. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. First, I would like to acknowledge some elected officials and appointed officials. My colleague, Parm Gill, who's a member of Parliament for Brampton-Springdale, Senator Aisha Seth, Minister Arinder Takar, who's Minister of Government Services of the Government of Ontario, and Mayor Susan Fennell, the Mayor of Brampton. It's an honor for me to be here with you for your glittering gala and to join you on behalf of the Government of Canada in acknowledging Indo-Canadian achievement. I also want to recognize your outstanding award winners and celebrate the role your community is playing in the larger Canadian family. Let me begin by offering my personal congratulations to all the award winners. Your achievements as entrepreneurs, executives, and professionals, and your contributions to technology as humanitarians and as mentors enrich the Indo-Canadian community and Canada as a whole. I also want to thank your President, Satish Thakkar, for his outstanding leadership and vision. The ICCC has become one of Canada's leading business organizations, and I commend you for the work that you are doing and the difference you are making in Indian-Canadian relations. When Satish became president a little over a year ago, he outlined his priorities for his term in office. And one of these was strengthening the Canada-India trade corridor. I share that priority, and tonight I would like to speak for just a few minutes about the potential, the tremendous potential before us. The ties between India and Canada are steeped in history and rooted in friendship. We have fought together in times of war and worked together in times of peace. We share membership in the Commonwealth. Close to 1 million people of Indian descent now call Canada home. There are also 19,000 Indian students studying here in Canada. We have strong ties of family and friendship. We share the fundamental values of democracy, freedom, and the rule of law. And to these bonds, we are now adding the connections of commerce. Last year, India's bilateral trade with Canada reached $5.1 billion, and two-way investment totaled $7 billion. Last year alone, Canadian exports to India increased by over 27%, and we boosted our imports from India by over 19%. But for all this trade, we know we are still only scratching the surface of what is possible. After all, India is a land of 1.2 billion people, with a growing middle class expected to reach over 40% of the population by 2025, according to 2007 figures. Its growth and development continues to be among the fastest in the world. Also by 2025, it is expected to be the fourth largest economy in the world. This growth will require energy and resources, everything from minerals to wood products, oil and gas, and metals. In almost every case, Canada has much of what India needs, and often in abundance. Of course, there is already a significant trade in natural resources between our two countries. In fact, half of all our exports to India last year was made up of resources. But there is much more we can do. After all, Canada is amply blessed with resources. Natural gas in BC, oil sands in Alberta, hydropower in Quebec, and offshore oil on the East Coast. Worldwide, we are the sixth largest producer of oil, with proven oil reserves the third largest. We're one of the biggest producers of uranium, the third largest producer of natural gas, and our mining industry is one of the world's leaders, with activities in over 100 countries. So, when it comes to meeting India's needs, Canada is uniquely positioned. Let me touch on a few concrete examples. On the energy front, India is currently the fourth largest energy consumer in the world, but it is looking to quadruple its electricity supply within the next 25 years. Canada has significant technical expertise in the generation and distribution of electrical power, including from renewable sources. And some of these technologies can help meet India's growing energy demand and spur development while safeguarding the environment. More broadly, we are strengthening our energy partnerships through the Canada-India Energy Forum, which will provide Canadian expertise in a wide range of areas, including clean technologies. India is also looking to nuclear power to generate a portion of the electricity it needs. Canada was pleased to sign the Nuclear Cooperation Agreement with India during the visit to Canada by Prime Minister Singh in 2010. Both India and Canada have well-established civilian nuclear power programs based on CANDU heavy water reactor technology, and I can foresee many opportunities for nuclear cooperation and joint ventures in the future. One possibility is to work together to develop India's large thorium resource, a fuel technology that can be compatible with CANDU heavy water reactors. As economic powers such as India emerge around the world, we see opportunities to expand and diversify our markets for the sale of abundant Canadian natural resources. This massive market in the Asia-Pacific region needs just about every commodity, every product and service we can offer to fuel ongoing growth and to meet the expectations of its fast-rising middle classes. The Government of Canada has as its fundamental strategic objective to diversify and expand our markets to meet that demand. Canada's investment in its Asia-Pacific Gateway is a perfect example of our country's effort to strengthen commercial ties with countries in the region. Our West Coast ports offer the shortest route to many of our Asian trading partners. However, if we do not act quickly to fill the demand for oil and liquid natural gas, the opportunity will pass us by. And that is why smart regulation is a key priority of our government. I will come back to this in a couple of minutes. There is also an increasing need for forest products in India, driven by the growing demand for housing. Over the last decade, exports of Canadian wood products to India have increased sevenfold to more than 12 million, but that is still a small number. My department is working closely with industry and with the British Columbia Forestry Innovation Investment to promote the benefits of Canadian tree species and wood products in this vital market. We're also working directly with India, exploring new opportunities to expand our trade in forest products. These efforts have already borne fruit with significant investment in Canadian pulp mills by Indian companies. Another area of tremendous potential is infrastructure. The Indian government has announced plans to invest $1 trillion over the next 5 years to meet its growing demands for infrastructure, everything from roads and ports to oil pipelines and power grids. And I don't care how blasé or worldly one is, that is an amazing number. Again, Canada is well positioned to help with world-leading financial, legal, technological, and engineering firms. We also want to expand our collaboration with India in areas of science and technology. We already have memoranda of agreements in place on geomatics and spatial information, earth sciences, mining, and energy. In West Bengal, Canadian and Indian geologists work together to uncover the cause of high arsenic levels in local soil and water supply. Just one example of how cooperative action can lead to better lives in both countries. Our government understands this potential, not just in science and technology, not just in resources, but across the whole spectrum of trade and investment. So together with our Indian partners, we are negotiating a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. This is a landmark undertaking that could fundamentally change the size and scope of two-way trade. In fact, the Canada-India joint study estimates that a trade agreement could help our economy grow by $6 billion a year and increase two-way trade by more than 50%. Prime Minister Stephen Harper and Manmohan Singh have set the goal of increasing our annual bilateral merchandise trade to $15 billion in the next 5 years. That is an ambitious goal, but one within reach of two great friends and partners. We also know that trade is only one side of the equation. We also need to boost two-way investment. To achieve that objective, we're working with India on a foreign investment promotion and protection agreement which will provide greater predictability and certainty for investors in both countries. So it's easy to see why our government is so excited about the potential for greater economic activity between our two countries. What's more, Canada itself stands poised on the threshold of an exciting new stage of development. Not many people realize, but over the next decade, more than 500 major projects worth over $500 billion are expected to come online right across Canada. No other country in the world is bringing on energy and mining projects on this scale or at this pace, creating a truly once-in-a-lifetime, once-in-a-generation opportunity to propel Canada to the forefront of resource development. To achieve that, we need to find ways to keep improving our competitiveness, including preventing the long delays in reviewing major projects that kill jobs and stall economic growth. As you may know, the government has recently announced a new approach to responsible resource development, an ambitious new plan to strengthen the environmental review process for major resource projects across Canada. The Responsible Resource Development Plan will do 4 things. First, make project reviews more predictable and timely with fixed dates for key reviews. Second, reduce duplication in reviewing projects with the goal of one project, one review. Third, strengthen environmental protection by focusing on major projects, enhancing enforcement, boosting fines. And fourth, enhance consultations with Aboriginal peoples. We believe this new approach makes sense for Canadians, for our economy, for our future. And as Canada looks to this bright future, we look to old friends like India. To quote an old Indian proverb, drops of water join to make a stream, ears of corn combine to make a crop. It's time to join Canada's resources with India's growth, expand our trade and investment, and begin to harvest the full potential of our relationship. I thank you all for the work you're doing to make that a reality and for inviting me to be part of this wonderful evening. Thank you, merci.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Thank you for the introduction. It is such a pleasure to be here with so many great friends in the Indo-Canadian community. As one of your wonderful honorees tonight, a dear friend of mine and past colleague, Cassie Rao, knows, shortly after getting to the Rotman School, I really made India our #1 international priority. That was 13 or 14 years ago, and maybe it didn't seem like the most important thing then, but it certainly has worked out well for the school. We consistently have either the first, second, or third greatest number of Indian students in our MBA program of any MBA program in North America. And it was kind of fun when you see these strategies take shape. We had somebody from Google in to try and sell us Google services, and they did an analysis of the Rotman School and where Google searches were taking place, and they had this gentleman was very smart, but he didn't know much about our strategy, and he said, "There's something very odd, though, Roger. We've looked at where people search the Rotman name, and of course you're massively over-indexed in the Greater Toronto community, or Greater Toronto area, but you're also massively over-indexed in India. Do you know what that's all about?" And we said, "Well, that's what we've been paying a lot of attention to for many years." I also want to just say quickly, before doing the job I'm supposed to do, which is introduce our guest, is to announce tonight that Satish and the Rotman School, and represented by our India Innovation Institute, which is headed by Dilip Soman, great professor here who's here tonight, are going to work together on an initiative to link up Rotman students with the SMEs who are members of the ICCC. We think that getting Rotman students involved in the business challenges of the SME sector, rather than just working with the big companies, getting involved in the SME sector will be great for that sector and great for the great experience for the students. So you'll hear more about that later, but Satish from the Chamber side and Dilip from the India Innovation Institute at the Rotman School and the Monk Center will be heading that up. The other pleasure is to introduce tonight Fanish Murthy. I've known him for some time. I met him about 8 years ago when he was the head of a relatively small organization, Quintent, and he's gone on to do kind of many bigger and ever more important things in the industry. But I think it's a great pleasure and it's an honor, I think, for all of us tonight to have Fanish here because I think if you think about India, and you think about sort of the new India that's now a business power on a global stage, something had to get that movement started. India was not a business power of any consequence globally until kind of one sector, the IT services sector, blossomed and became an international force that has companies that are competing around the world with the very best, and in fact, in many cases, outcompeting their very best elsewhere. And there are probably less than a dozen folks in India, leaders in India of that sector, who are more responsible for that growth and blossoming than anybody else. And I think what's important for India is that on the back of that industry becoming a global force, now there are other industries, steel, pharma, autos, that have now become players on a global stage. So if you look back on that dozen or fewer incredibly important key individuals, everybody would say one of those is Fanish Murthy. So he played an incredibly important role in the very early days, from the time Infosys was a tiny, tiny little company to a very large company. But he didn't stop there. He's gone on to be an innovator in transforming the industry towards business outcomes. He took Quinten, merged it into iGate, turned around iGate in an incredibly impressive fashion, and now has tripled iGate's size by buying a company twice as big as iGate. So he's not stopped, he's not slowed down. He's both a fantastic business leader and a fantastic thought leader for the industry. So it is a great pleasure to introduce Finish Murthy tonight to this audience. Finish.
And, you know, I had a lot of points which were prepared, and obviously Minister Oliver, going before me, took all of those points. So whatever he said earlier, you can include in my speech. But I just want to say something. In 2009, the two Prime Ministers, Dr. Manmohan Singh and Mr. Stephen Harper, had set this goal of $15 billion of trade by 2015. You know, this reminds me of the story of Akbar and Birbal. You know, for many of you who don't know about Akbar and Birbal, Akbar was one of the most famous emperors in India about 500 years ago, give or take some. And he had this very incredibly witty minister who always had this knack of getting him and himself, getting emperor and himself out of trouble. And all the other ministers were very jealous of Birbal. So one day they went and told, and they always try to get Birbal into trouble. One day they went and told Akbar, you know, Emperor, Birbal knows how to make horses fly. And he hasn't taught our own army this technique and this trick. So the emperor was furious, of course. He called Birbal and said, Birbal, what is this you've done? You know, our armies could have fought. We could have won so many more battles without loss of life. Our horses could be flying. And from up there, we could rain arrows on our enemies and so on and so forth. So Birbal, being a wise man, he obviously realized, yes, this is definitely true, that I didn't tell you. I mean, he realized that the other ministers were trying to get him in trouble. So he thought for a little while and he said, Emperor, I'm really sorry, but I need some things to make horses fly. And the emperor said, what do you need? He said, I need about 400 acres of your prime land. The emperor said, done, no problem. He said, I need 100 of your best horses. He said, no problem. He said, I need a big house to be built there so that I'm going to stay there to, you know, to really train the horses. And the emperor says, no problem. And the ministers are all wondering, you know, my God, you know, we thought that this is going to be a bad thing for Birbal, but it's turning out to be a great thing for Birbal. And then finally Birbal says, I need 10 years to train the horses. And the emperor says, no problem. And all the ministers come and ask Birbal, you know, you got all of this. We thought we'll get you in trouble. You got all of this. But, you know, what will happen 10 years later? He says, oh, 10 years later, who knows, you know, maybe the emperor is dead or I am dead. And if neither of that happens, even horses will fly. So hopefully the $15 billion figure was thought about in the same context. That, you know, so far out in the future, but, you know, the future is not so far away now. And we really do need to start thinking about this very, very differently. You know, the Minister Orwell talked a lot about the resources and Canada's opportunities in India. I want to take a slightly different path around the services sector. India has a population of 1.2 billion people, and we have always regarded our biggest asset as our human resources. The problem is, it's an asset and a liability both. With so many people in poverty, and with an economy which is not growing fast enough to get everybody out of poverty in any reasonable period of time, there is no doubt that the Indian population can best be suited or can best be leveraged really to employ for the global market, for the world market. That's the philosophy with which we as an Indian company have always started. That is there a way we can use the great natural resources, the intelligence, the academic education qualifications of these Indian people and service globally all of the markets around the world. And to that extent, you know, if you just think about it, half of the world's problems today are caused only by the resentment which is built or which has been building between the haves and the have-nots. And the fact that India is extremely peaceful is because of the fact, I think, that India is leveraging global opportunities very well for its population. It is not, I don't know, it may be lost on too many people. There was a point of time I used to be the youngest person in the IT industry. Now I'm one of the oldest people in the IT industry, so that's the unfortunate problem that I've gone through in my transformation in my life. But in 1992, when the software exports to India really started, the fillip was provided by a Canadian company. There was a company called Bell Northern Research. Unfortunately, it no longer exists. It was a subsidiary of Nortel, Northern Telecom, in those days. And BNR, we used to love this word. The president of BNR, when I met him, he said, we are $1 billion all in spend. And that to us was obviously the greatest thing. When a number of the Indian companies started working in 1992 with GE, GE, of course, had this massive team. They came around, spent a lot of time, evaluated multiple companies, came in and finally picked 4 partners. And BNR came to India 2 days later and said, we'll just go with the same 4 partners and we will pay you double of what GE is paying. And that is the true spirit of Canadian development. They said, we'll pay you double of what GE is paying because we want your best resources, give us your brightest, and we want you to spend the balance on building your infrastructure. In those days, the Indian IT industry, and at least the company which I was in Infosys at that time, we used to operate from a 4-bedroom apartment. And it is the work of Canadian companies like BNR which actually gave us the capital to be able to build infrastructure and truly scale and make it world-class and world scale. The continuing, if you just think about what started off extremely positively, today has kind of been very slow on the overall pickup. The Indian IT industry, the Indian services industry today is about $60 billion. Roughly about $30 billion of that is to the United States. If you look at Canada as roughly 10% of the United States, if you look at UK as roughly the same size as Canada, if you look at Australian economy, which is roughly the same size as Canada, or Canada is actually larger than the Australian economy. If you look at these, the services business between India and Canada is significantly underleveraged and underserved. And these are the areas, you look at the success of Sun Life in India. India as a market is starting to grow. It is at its very nascency for sophisticated financial products, sophisticated insurance products, and the like. And the Canadians have a lot of expertise in that. And then if you look at the usage of Indian technical talent to make the companies more globally competitive, many companies around the world today have become significantly more competitive because of the usage of the Indian technology talent and the Indian services industry. And if you look at the potential, therefore, there's a clear potential for just alone, I'm talking about the technology services marketplace between India and Canada to be in excess of $3 billion from roughly 1/10 that size today, or maybe 1/6 that size today. This is, we believe, a huge growth opportunity and an opportunity which can be significantly leveraged by a lot of us sitting around this table. I mean, this is really what, when everybody talks about the 1 million people in Canada, when everybody talks about the Indo-Canadian corridor, these are all areas which require smart investments, not just investments in capital, not just investments in natural resources, but these are all human resource-based investments. These are all, this is all about smartness in outthinking competition globally and in doing work which is of a dramatically different nature and of value to clients to make them more competitive in the world marketplace. So it is my hypothesis that as Canada starts realizing that in this highly interconnected economy, that most Canadian companies will have to compete more and more for global share rather than just purely for Canadian share or for share in North America, the usage of Indian services will become dramatically different, and that continues to be a huge area, in my mind, of expansion between the two countries. The fact that from an Indian perspective, Toronto continues to be one of the most spectacularly beautiful cities, and it's one of my favorite cities. Although it is the most expensive city in Canada, it still ranks only 82nd and behind many, many Indian cities in terms of cost of living. And if you just think about that, from multiple perspectives, Canada is also a great destination because of the English-speaking and the fairly open nature that Canada has, and the fact that Canada is, like the US, one of the most innovative countries in the world. Thank you very much.
तमन्ना ठीक नहीं गम और खुशी दो रास्ते हैं एक राह पे चलना ठीक नहीं बदल जाए मौसम खुशी आई जाए गम बदल जाए मौसम खुशी आई जाए गम बदल जाए मौसम खुशी आई जाए गम बदल जाए
प्रीत की लत मोहे ऐसी लागी हो गई मैं मतवारी बल बल जाऊं अपने पिया को हे मैं जाऊं वारी वारी तेरे नाम से जी लूं तेरे नाम से मर जाऊं तेरे नाम से जी लूं तेरे नाम से मर जाऊं तेरी जान के सदके में कुछ ऐसा कर जाऊं तूने क्या कर डाला मर गई मैं मिट गई मैं हो जी हाँ जी हो गई मैं तेरी दीवानी दीवानी तेरी दीवानी दीवानी तूने क्या कर डाला मर गई मैं मिट गई मैं हो जी हाँ जी हो गई मैं तेरी दीवानी दीवानी तेरी दीवानी दीवानी
Very difficult task, and we have some very good people doing that. So please direct your attentions to the screens for an overview of the awards process.
Every year, the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce recognizes the achievements of outstanding Indo-Canadians in 11 categories. Nominations are received from all across Canada and are carefully screened to ensure they meet the eligibility criteria. Next, our advisory board meets to deliberate and choose the final awardees who are being honored tonight. The result of their effort is a group of rare individuals who have made significant strides in their respective fields and have made a valuable contribution to society. Needless to say, these individuals make all Indo-Canadians proud. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the advisory board of the ICCC. Advisory Board 2012-13. Alok Mukherjee, Chair, Toronto Police Services Board. Benji Thomas, National Industry Leader for Private Equity at KPMG. Mark Bolger, Regional Manager of Asia at the EDC. Sampat Podar, President and CEO of Virex Gems Incorporated. Sonia Kapasi, Head of South Asian Banking at HSBC. Supriya Banerjee, Deputy Director General of CII. Tony DePascal, VP of Supply Chain for the Peel region of RBC Royal Bank. Vasu Chinchalani, serial entrepreneur and philanthropist. Vikram Khurana, CEO of Prudential Consulting.
We've already picked the award winner, so we're not going to have to worry about any awkward shots of the other nominees. You know, politely clapping and thinking, oh, that should have been me. But it's an honor to be nominated. But, you know, that panel that we just saw, the advisory panel, they did have a very difficult job. Ajay Chadha from PricewaterhouseCoopers to come up to the stage, and he is going to introduce the Female Entrepreneur of the Year.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, is delighted to be sponsoring the Entrepreneur of the Year Awards this year. As we all know, the entrepreneurial spirit is very alive and thriving in the Indo-Canadian community. I come from a family of entrepreneurs myself, so I have an appreciation of this. It is my pleasure to be introducing to you the Female Entrepreneur of the Year. This award is presented to an Indo-Canadian woman entrepreneur who has established profile in the Canadian and the global business community, who has demonstrated achievements in both business product or business innovation, business process innovation, who has strong leadership, and who has made a good or strong contribution to the community at large as well. The 2012 Entrepreneur of the Year, the Female Entrepreneur of the Year award goes to Ms. Praveena Buddhadev. Now, just a few comments on Praveena. Praveena is recognized, very highly recognized in the travel industry, as she founded the Huntington Travel Group. And for those that don't know the Huntington Travel Group, Huntington started in 1978 as a 4-person operation. And with Praveena's perseverance, today has over 300 staff in Canada, within Toronto, Victoria, Philippines, as well as in India. They operate one of the largest Canadian airline wholesales, and they operate under the brand names of Huntington Travel, Flight Network, My Escapades, and Western Vacations. I had the opportunity to meet Praveena and her husband Kiran tonight. So besides being a very savvy business lady, she's also a very charming business lady. So let's congratulate her.
Namaskar and good evening, President Mr. Satish Thakkar, distinguished guests and friends. I'm honored to be here tonight to accept this award. I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate all the other winners tonight. My appreciation to the members of the ICCC Advisory Board and the Board of Directors for selecting me. I'm thankful to Mr. Suresh Thakkar for nominating me for this prestigious award. We are one of Canada's largest airline wholesalers, serving thousands of customers via call center and online technology. To my son Naaman and my soon-to-be daughter-in-law Mindy for their love and never-ending support. I'm so proud of my son's success with the amazing growth of FlightNetwork.com as one of Canada's largest online travel agencies. To my daughter Tejal, my son-in-law Henrik, and beautiful grandson Marcus, who brings me so much joy and unconditional love. No amount of business success will ever compete with the joy of being a grandmother. I'd like to express my deepest appreciation to my husband Kiran for giving me his continued support, guidance and love, which means the world to me. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to my Guru, Pujya Morari Bapu, for his blessings and spiritual guidance. My journey has been very fulfilling.
As every year, it's a pleasure to be again in front of you. My name is Raj Katari. I am the managing partner for GTA for PwC, and I'm also the National Asset Management Leader. I also have the privilege of having served this organization as the president from 1996 to 1998. PricewaterhouseCoopers has been a fountain of supporting new businesses. In fact, this year, it also received an award and being recognized as an organization which supports newcomers in finding jobs in Canada. Today, we are honoring a Male Entrepreneur of the Year as chosen by the Advisory Board of the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, who is Harpreet Sethi. Harpreet is an established Canadian and has demonstrated achievements in business products and processes and a strong leadership with stellar contributions to the community. He started his business at a young age of 16 and became a top textile distributor at the time, right when he was 18. He took his startups in furniture and textile industries to a significant turnover in across 20 countries. He was featured in CFMT as the fastest growing South Asian business. And now he runs the Victorian Convention Center, the Radisson Plaza Hotel in Mississauga, and amongst many of his developers. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Harpreet Sethi.
Honorable Ministers, Chief Guests, member of the South Asian community, and of course the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. A very good evening, everyone. I'm truly humbled and honored by this recognition. First of all, I would like to thank the member of the Advisory Board and Selection Committee who thought of me as worthy for this award. I'm sure it was not an easy job to select from all the dignified candidates in the category. Also, I would like to thank all the people who have supported me and helped me come this far, starting with my family, my wife, Ginny, and our 2 children, Priya and Prince. Ginny is truly a big part of anything I do in life or in business, so I share this award with her. I truly believe that with the right people around you, you can go far. In fact, there is a saying that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I have certainly found that going together is the better route. Today, I am what many people would consider a success. But what I am truly proud of is that I have been able to give back to my community and to the country that is now my home. If you are an entrepreneur, put aside your fear of failure and understand that while you cannot control success or failure, you can definitely control your own actions and efforts. You will find that if you are hardworking, smart, and sincere, there is nothing that you cannot accomplish in this great country. In our community, we have so many MPs and MPPs, entrepreneurs, professionals, artists, blue-collar workers. Each of us are contributing in our own way. I am proud to stand among you and thank you for your ongoing support and encouragement. I hope that I can find many ways to contribute to serve in the years to come. On that note, please accept my deepest gratitude for this honor. I'm so thankful to everyone who has helped, played an important role in my life. Over the years, through ups and downs, this award will hold a very special place in my heart. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Venki Raman, and I'm the District Vice President for CIBC. It is an honor for me to be here this evening to present the Professional Female of the Year Award. The Professional Female of the Year Award is given to a woman professional who has significant achievements in professional practice as judged by the peer group, has demonstrated a solid professional track record, and has contributed to the profession and to the community at large. The 2012 Professional Female of the Year Award winner is Dr. Madhur Anand. Dr. Anand is the Director of Global Ecological Change Laboratory at University of Guelph. She's an ecologist with research accomplishments ranging the spectrum of theoretical and empirical studies of natural and human-induced changes in ecosystems. She has been the president of the Sigma Xi Scientific Society, University of Toronto, a visiting professor at McGill and at Princeton University. In her interdisciplinary scientific career, she's authored over 60 peer-reviewed scientific papers and co-authored a textbook in climate change biology. Now, if you think Dr. Anand is a scientist or is a researcher, well, you should also know this. She is also a poet. So let's give it up for Dr. Madhur Anand.
So I'd like to first and foremost thank my parents, who are unsung heroes. I'd like to thank you for leading by example. I'd also like to thank my first mentor, Dr. Laszlo Orlosi, and the many colleagues and students, funding organizations who supported my research. I need to thank Chimmin and Gala Harsora, who are pillars of our community, and my former Dean of Science and Engineering, Dr. Rizwan Haq. Above all, I want to thank my husband, Dr. Chris Bao, himself a brilliant scientist and generous soul, for allowing me to live out my dreams, and my 2 children for giving birth to the mother in me. I'm comforted, inspired, and proud of my heritage that embraces all of the complexity of humankind with such sophisticated simplicity. So with honor, gratitude, and dharma, I accept this award. Namaste.
Our next.
Good evening. On behalf of BMO, I am honored to be presenting this award. The Professional Male of the Year award is given to an individual who has an established record of achievement in professional practice as judged by his peer group, has demonstrated corporate or professional track record, and has made contributions to the profession and to the community. The 2012 Professional Male of the Award winner, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Sunit Radia. A 24-year professional sales and marketing veteran of P&G Canada, Sunit leads the fabric and home portfolio, P&G's largest business unit. Sunit earned the William Proctor Sales Master for Market Strategy and Planning at Procter & Gamble, the highest global recognition one can receive at the company. Sunit has also given back to the community. His diversity efforts led him to be the only Canadian ever to receive the P&G's prestigious La Merit's Diversity Champion Award. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sunit Radia.
Good evening, President, Mr. Satish Thakur, distinguished guests and friends. I'm indeed humbled and honored to be here tonight accepting this award. I wish to start by expressing my gratitude to Mr. Suresh Thakrar and Mr. Deepak Ruparel for nominating me for this prestigious prize. I'm also thankful to the members of the ICC Advisory Board and the Board of Directors for giving me the honor from among the many nominees with this distinction tonight. My journey with Procter & Gamble began in 1988 as a sales representative and was clearly a humbling start. I'm now in the 25th year of my professional sales and marketing career with P&G, and the journey has been truly remarkable. Understanding the working cultures of one of the world's largest consumer packaged goods company, the rapidly changing structure of a large multinational corporation, acquisition of different brands and its integration, and various leadership roles at P&G have all been a tremendous, fulfilling aspect of my journey. I'm personally very fortunate and proud that I've made a difference for so many of these Canadians. I'd also like to take this opportunity to express my deepest appreciation to my wife Bhavna and to my 2 adult sons Sahil and Sheel. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the love and support you've provided, and we've created a truly wonderful, joyous home full of fun and laughter. And very loving thanks to my mom and dad for their lifelong inspiration, respect and love. In conclusion, my sincere thanks once again to the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce and the sponsors for this very great honor. Thank you.
This award is given to a young person with demonstrated achievements in business product or process innovation and development, who has demonstrated a strong leadership skills and academic excellence, and has contributed to the community. The 2012 Young Achiever Award winner is Akshay Sani. Akash is the co-founder and chief technology officer of My Voice, a company that develops revolutionary communication aid apps for people with speech and language disabilities. My Voice is a mobile application that turns smartphones and tablets into fully featured speaking aids. The application has been available for a year and has nearly 12,000 users in over 30 countries. In speaking with Akash, he says that the response from communities and My Voice serves has been very positive and incredibly heartwarming. Please join me in applauding the very talented and extremely deserving Akash Sanhe.
I'm thrilled to be receiving the ICCC Young Achievers Award this year. I'd first like to thank the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce for this great honor. I'd like to thank my mom and dad for their constant encouragement and guidance. I'd like to thank my sisters for being some of the best role models in the world, my very special girlfriend Coyle for her care and support, and my outstanding team at My Voice for their dedication to My Voice, our users, and our mission.
The app offers location-specific dictionaries that finds where you are through the use of GPS. From there, you're given a choice of words and pictures, and this could be a lifesaver for anyone struggling with their vocabulary.
So when you're at a movie theater, all you have to do is hit Find Places on your iPhone or your iPod Touch. You'll see that the movie theater is the second location closest to us. We can click on it, and we can say things like,
"Where are my seats? 2 tickets, please. Could I get a large popcorn?"
The software is supported by a website where caregivers or users can log on and add words that are specific to their needs.
I can add the names of all my friends, my teachers, my colleagues.
Thanks again, ICCC.
Banking for Scotiabank.
Good evening, everyone. It truly is my pleasure to be here on behalf of Scotiabank to present the Technology Achievement Award. The Technology Achievement of the Year Award is given to a technology achiever who has demonstrated achievements in business product, has a record of innovation, has established a high profile in the Canadian and the global business community, and has a strong leadership skills along with the stellar contributions to the community. The joint winners of the 2012 Technology Award are Saneet Singh Tuli and Raja Singh Tuli. Saneet is the co-founder and CEO of DataWin Limited. He has over 2 decades of experience as an accomplished entrepreneur, having previously launched 2 successful companies. DataWin's Akash tablets have received worldwide attention as the company executes a vision to empower over 3 billion people with computing and internet access. Raja is the co-founder, chief technology officer, and co-chairman of DataWin Limited. Raja is a celebrated innovator with over 48 patents covering a range of technologies related to imaging, telecommunications, OLEDs, solar concentrators, and the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, Saneet Tuli and Mr. Tuli Sr. accepting the award. Congratulations.
The team of brothers, Suneet Singh Tuli and Raja Singh Tuli, created DataWin Limited around the vision to empower the next 3 billion people on our planet with computing and internet access. Suneet is the founder and CEO of the company, and Raja is its chief technology officer. And they both have impressive track records in the field of entrepreneurship and technology. With over 48 patents covering a range of technologies related to imaging, telecommunications, OLEDs, solar concentrators, and the internet, Raja Singh Tuli is a celebrated inventor. Suneet, the older of the two, is a serial entrepreneur with 2 successful companies prior to DataWin that went public on the NASDAQ stock market. Most recently, DataWin's Akash and UV Slate tablets have received worldwide attention as the company gears itself to deliver on its vision. The company has sparked interest among business and political leaders around the globe. In its own words, DataWind has not simply launched a product, but triggered a revolution by bridging the digital divide. With its low-cost web access devices, DataWind is hoping to empower, educate, and enhance the quality of life for millions of people around the world. Here is Mr. Suneet Singh Tooley with a personal message.
Raja and I wanted to take a moment to extend our sincere thanks for this award. The validation and credibility generated is invaluable as we navigate opportunities globally. We're truly honored and humbled. Thank you.
The first award is the Corporate Executive of the Year, and this award is sponsored by RBC Royal Bank. So we'd like to welcome Ms. Tina Sorellis, the Regional Vice President, Commercial Financial Services for the Greater Toronto Region, to come up to the stage to present the award.
Well, let me start by congratulating the ICC on the terrific work you do and also on an absolutely terrific and inspiring event this evening. And also thank you so much for including RBC. We are so very proud of our association with the ICCC, and I am absolutely honored to be representing RBC this evening. I have the great honor of presenting the Corporate Executive of the Year Award, an award that is given to an executive who possesses strong leadership skills, someone who enjoys a record of innovation, an individual who has a high profile in the Canadian and the global business community and has received recognition and awards for their corporate achievements, and has made last but not least, a significant contribution to the community. So it's no surprise that the 2012 Corporate Executive of the Year is Sriram Iyer. Sriram is the President and CEO of ICICI Bank of Canada and Regional Head of North America for ICICI Bank. He came to Canada in 2003 as a core member of the executive team that established ICICI Bank in Canada and has held a series of progressively senior roles in ICICI before becoming President and CEO in 2008. The bank is a full-service direct bank with an asset base of approximately $5.3 billion and serves more than 250,000 customers throughout its 9 branches and its electronic platform. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Sriram Iyer.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce for this wonderful recognition. I'm truly humbled and honored. The list of previous winners is a long and prestigious one, and I'm honored to be amongst them. The Chamber has been doing some incredible work in helping small and medium enterprises start and grow their business in Canada. The work that the Chamber has been doing is of vital importance to both India and Canada, and I'm delighted to be associated with ICCC. So on behalf of my 60,000 colleagues across the world, I'd like to thank you for this wonderful award. It's their dedication and hard work that has made this possible today. I'd like to thank my board of directors for all the tremendous support and guidance in helping the bank succeed. And more importantly, I'd like to thank my wife Anita for always being there and for all her support so freely given. My son Advait has been a source of joy and inspiration for both of us. For the past 16 years, I've had the immense privilege of working with ICICI Bank, first in India and for the last 9 years in Canada. ICICI Bank is one of the most dynamic and progressive companies to work for, and I'm indeed fortunate to be working for this bank for so many years. One of the things that I'm most proud of is the significant impact that the bank has had on the communities that we live and work in. We're all very proud of what we have accomplished in Canada. Our success would not have been possible without the hard work and dedication of my employees. I'm really proud to be leader of such a talented set of employees, and the future does indeed look bright for us. Thank you once again for this award. Thanks to all of you for being here tonight. Thank you.
Deepak Anand, Champion Products Corp, to come up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a wonderful dinner.
Ashok had to leave, and he passed on the paper with his views. And one of the reasons he was saying he left because he thought he should be nominated for this award as well. Because at Champion, we sell janitorial products. We sell the tissue papers. So we have the humanitarian awards stuff too. Going to this wonderful award, the Humanitarian of the Year award, it's given to a person with proven commitment to humanitarian goals and causes, with track record of contribution to the Indo-Canadian community, and a high profile in the Canadian and the global community. This year, 2012, Humanitarian of the Award's winner is Chandrakant Sachdev. Chandrakant, father of two, married for 48 years, is very well known in the community for his dedicated volunteerism and services at BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha and BAPS Charities Inc. He has also been the president of Canadian Museum of Cultural Heritage of Indo-Canadians, which is Canada's premier museum dedicated to showcasing and promoting the understanding of history, civilization, diversity, and cultural heritage of Indo-Canadians. Chandrakant has enriched the lives of many through his humanitarian, community, and fundraising initiatives, which includes Gujarat Earthquake Relief Fund, Haiti Earthquake Relief Fund, Sikh Kids Hospital Foundation, Princess Margaret Hospital Fund, and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and please welcome Chandrakant Sachdev.
Good evening, President Mr. Satish Thakur, distinguished guests and friends. I would like to convey my sincere appreciation to the members of the ICC Advisory Board and the Board of Directors for bestowing this honor on me. I'm also grateful to Suresh Thakrar and Deepak Ruparel for nominating. I have been very fortunate and blessed that I have had opportunity to give service to humanity for almost my entire life. It has been a very fulfilling journey to me. I'm truly humbled to receive this much esteemed award tonight. For that, first of all, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to my Guru, Pujya Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who is also the spiritual head of the worldwide DAPS organization. Swami's compassion for humanity, universal wisdom, striking simplicity, and his blessings and spiritual guidance has greatly inspired me to care for and serve my community, my society, my country, and those in need for over 50 years. Once again, my sincere thanks to the Indo-Canadian Chamber of Commerce and the sponsors for this very great honor. Thank you for showcasing the Indo-Canadian community's contributions beyond business. That's wonderful. Thank you and have a good evening.
Sunil Tandon, President of CEO of the State Bank of India, Canada, to come to the stage now to present the Lifetime and Outstanding Achievement Award.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The State Bank of India, Canada is a proud sponsor of Lifetime Outstanding Achievement Award. And it's my honor and privilege to introduce you the award winner tonight. The Lifetime Outstanding Achievement Award is awarded to a person with a high profile in Canadian and global business and professional community. The 2012 Lifetime Outstanding Achievement of the Year is awarded to Dr. Pawan Singhal. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Pawan Singhal. Dr. Singhal is a professor of physiology and a director of the Institute of Cardiovascular Sciences, St. Boniface Hospital and University of Manitoba, Winnipeg. Internationally, Known for his work on oxidative stress and heart failure, Dr. Singhal has made significant contributions in our understanding of heart failure due to a variety of causes, particularly as a side effect of anti-cancer drug in breast cancer patients. He has published 250 papers, has co-authored 27 books, and trained more than 100 students, fellow, and visiting scientists. Dr. Singhal has achieved more than 60 national and international awards. He is known for his leadership role in bringing together people with very diverse language, culture, religion, social practice for a common cause. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Pawan Singhal.
I would like to thank the Awards Committee of the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce for such a high recognition. Lifetime achievements like this can never happen without a committed life partner. A big thank you to my wife, Roop, and I'm looking forward to, for the life remaining, further good things with the love and affection of my daughter, Mona, son, Rohit, daughter-in-law, Deepa, many friends and relatives. Thank you all.
Good evening. I chose not to say anything funny because my wife told me not to about Johnny Walker and Indians, but affectionately, there's nothing that really goes together as well as Johnny Walker and Indians. So I just wanted to say that. I think everyone's had a fond story with Johnny Walker in their life. This brand for us really means something significant. It means success. It means progression. And we affectionately use the word keep walking. So to the ICC, keep walking. You're doing great and your progress is amazing. The Indo-Canadian Chamber of Commerce's President Award is awarded to acclaimed heroes who have a high profile in the Canadian and global business and professional community, have outstanding achievements and contribution to a profession, have made significant contribution to the Indo-Canadian community, and have, of course, strong leadership skills. The 2012 President's Award winner is Ms. Preeti Saran. Ms. Saran is Consul General of India in Toronto. Before taking up her assignment as Consul General of India in Toronto, Ms. Saran was Joint Secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, heading the Northern Division and handling India's bilateral relations with Nepal and Bhutan. She has varied assignments both at headquarters in New Delhi and India missions abroad, ranging from political, cultural, press and information and economic and commercial work. She has experience in multilateral work and has attended several international conferences. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. Saran.
It is my great pleasure to congratulate my friend, Preeti Saran, on receiving the President's Award. The President's Award is said to be an award for unsung heroes. But Preeti, you're not unsung. All of us know of your leadership and contributions to the community. Throughout your time as Consul General, you've brought the best of India to us in so many ways. For example, in your outreach to the universities of Toronto, York, and Ryerson, your work for India Independence celebrations at Dundas Square every August 15th, your outreach to India's diaspora communities across Canada, your leadership in last year's Year of India in Canada. Your work and your leadership have touched every one of us who are building bridges between Ontario and India. So for all that, thank you so much, Preeti, and congratulations.
I'm also delighted that ICCC are honoring my colleague Consul General Preeti Saran with their prestigious award. She has worked tirelessly to raise the profile of the India-Canada relationship, and the award is indeed well deserved.
Preeti Saran falls into the tradition of great Indian diplomats who have been posted to Canada. 2011 was celebrated as the Year of India in Canada, and to mark that special occasion, ICC was honored to partner with Government of India in organizing a very signature event, PBD Canada 2011 in Toronto. The single most important person who helped ICC in making PBD a grand success, and which was duly recognized by the Government of India as the best overseas PBD ever, was Preeti Saran. My heartiest congratulations to Preeti on this recognition.
I'm honored and delighted to be given this award. I've had the pleasure of working closely with Presidents Asha Luthra, Vinay Nagpal, and Satish Thakkar. I would like to thank ICCC for conferring this honor upon me, which I deeply cherish. If I have made any contribution, it has been possible only because of the unstinting support of my colleagues in the consulate and the members of our community. I thank them all.
And that award is sponsored by the TD Bank Group, and I'm going to ask Mr. Manjit Singh to come to the stage. He is the Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of Canadian Personal and Commercial Banking for TD Bank. So, Mr. Singh, please come to the stage.
Good evening. On behalf of the TD Bank, it's my pleasure to present tonight's Member of the Year Award. The Member of the Year Award is presented to a person who has contributed to enhancing the Chamber's profile through volunteerism and community service. This year's winner is Kasi Rao. Kasi is a Senior Advisor to Indo-Canadian Chamber of Commerce, an advisor to Bennett Jones, and Senior Fellow at the Asia Pacific Foundation. He provides strategic guidance to the broader public and private sector organizations on matters pertaining to higher education, government relations, business development, and policy issues, with a particular focus on India. In his capacity as Senior Advisor in India, he advises the Bennett Jones team on developing and implementing India-related strategies. In 2008, Kasi authored Ontario-India Relations, the Infrastructure Dimension, a report for the Ontario Chamber of Commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Kasi Rao.
My thanks to the ICC for this special honor. It is deeply meaningful to me. Over the last 5 years, my involvement as a member with the ICC has been particularly close. This is mainly because as I do work in the Canada-India space, I look to organizations such as ICC to help guide me and provide opportunities and open doors both here in Canada and in India. May I also say that the ICC is special because in many ways it represents the best of our aspirations, individually and as citizens. When you look at the fine work that they do with new immigrants who come to Canada and providing practical levels of support and opportunities for them, or whether it is in seminal events like last year's Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, where they played the role that they've been historically known for, i.e. as a model bridge builder between the diaspora and between Canada and India. The ICC has always provided phenomenal leadership. So for me, this is a very special moment to have this recognition as a member. Thank you to one, thank you to all.
Scotiabank and ICICI Bank Canada.
We also have CIBC, the Export Development Canada, EDC, TD Financial Group, and Alliance.
And the visual media sponsor, Omni.
And tonight's event, we also again thank the EDC and BDC.
Ladies and gentlemen, another big round of applause for all of our wonderful sponsors. Of course, we all know in the business world how important they are. Let's welcome them back.
And so as you're coming up onto the stage, what we'd like to do is take a really lovely photograph with everybody. So if we all sort of come over a little bit this way and nice and tight so the photographers can get that perfect shot.
Thank you again to all of our sponsors for being here and for making this event such a great success tonight. Let's give them one more big round of applause.